I gotta say, I think this is my favorite episode of the series. I really think it is, because the music alone, I think the music really sets this episode up there. The bar was set high with this episode, especially with how that first opening song was played at the end of the episode with the death of one of the main focus characters of this episode. There was some really brutal things going on, especially when they committed suicide, and you just see how the vampires are looking at them like, whoa, what's going on? They poisoned themselves, didn't want, intel to get out. So, I mean, there was some crazy stuff, especially with that, in how, like, all the events led up to that final moment of the episode to where the girl continuously asked, like, kill me, I want you to kill me, and that was sad. It was sad. Even though I didn't know this character a lot, like I wasn't completely close to this girl that died at the end of the episode, I still felt something, because the way she kept begging to be killed, but then also how her entire squad was killed around her, and then they committed suicide, and then she lived on, and she wasn't even able to kill herself, and then she was being forced to be begged, like begging a vampire to kill her, and there was a lot of sad things throughout this entire episode, and so I really gotta hand it to the animators for doing a good job with the atmosphere that this episode really displayed throughout the start to the finish. Now, this was a Mika episode. Now, we got Mika and we got you also in this episode, which it wasn't like last week's episode where, there was no Mika at all, which surprised me. And with this, we actually have Mika kind of taking one of the main roles of this episode. He probably has about 50 to 60-something% of this episode to himself, and the rest is you with his, conversations with his squad, to the aftermath after the battles with the nobles, and then also with Gurren, and then how they're going to be going on and doing their next mission. Now, here is the thing, though. We get to actually see that these nobles aren't as weak as, some might assume. Now, I know for a fact those nobles weren't weak, because if you look at last week's episode, they were just fucking trashing our squad like it was nothing. Well, if anyone had any doubts, well, we get to really see how these nobles are no joke, because you see it to where, the main girl that was the focus of this episode, when she comes back with her squad, like 8 of her squad is dead, and you have it to where, multiple fatalities, they're captured by Crowley, and I mean, there's just so much going on with death, that it goes to show you what type of operation they're really participating in when it comes to what's going on in the series. Now, I feel like the way Gurren is leading the charge to Crowley to kind of get back the hostages, it feels like a suicide mission. It really does, because it doesn't seem like logically you would be able to overcome Crowley, this noble that has like these 2 strong female vampires underneath him, and then probably an army as well. It just doesn't seem like with what you have, you could be able to take them out with ease at all. It's not going to be an easy battle, but it feels like it's going to be like a suicide mission, because there's no way, if like 40-something people or even less than that just got killed over him and turned into hostages, that is really, really fucking bad. So I wonder how they're really going to overcome this fight, and I feel like they're going to try to get the hostages back, and then they're probably going to retreat. I don't think they're going to be able to kill Crowley, because he has a lot of information, and it seems like he's very intelligent, and I feel like he's a very important character to the series, because with the start of the episode, we get to see Crowley's perspective and what is going on with the vampire side, which this episode does a really good job of shifting from the human side to the vampire side back and forth throughout the episode, and seeing Crowley's side of how, how he's handling the situation being attacked and how, like, they took hostages, we get to see how he's starting to piece things together. He's like, okay, so humans are advancing way too fast. They know our weaknesses. They're starting to make these weapons that are kind of stronger than ours. How the hell are they able to do this so quick? I mean, he's like, there's obviously someone feeding the humans information, so who is doing it? Do we have a traitor amongst us, or is it a human? And this raises a lot of questions, so it goes to show you Crowley, he's intelligent. That's one thing you found out about his character, but also that he's starting to piece things together, and he does know that there's probably a traitor among them, and so he needs to figure out who it is. So I wonder if Season 2 might lead to the revelation of who is the traitor. Like, I wonder if we will get, confirmation who is the traitor before Season 2 wraps up. Now, back into other things, though, we also got it to where Gurren, he has a conversation, and we come to find out that, like, he is the one that beats himself up the most after a battle when he loses comrades. Like, when someone dies underneath him, like a subordinate or something, he beats himself up over it. And I mean, as we've seen from Gurren's character, he seems like he wouldn't be the type of character to really get that upset, but when we get to see this, you know, characterization of him, like this other side, he's like, I'll do it after the battle. And, you know, you got to see how he was holding himself back. And he does feel bad. Like, he just ignored the conversation and just walked away. So, yeah, I mean, really cool stuff with this episode of Seraph of the End. I cannot wait to see how next week's episode is, because, I mean, this episode, definitely one of the best episodes of the series yet. Now, I don't know how it was in terms of adaptation, you know, adapting the manga, but I still love this episode nonetheless. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.